it's Marie Realtor with BRIDGEWELL Real Estate Group, and in today's Tri-Cities Neighborhood Guide, I'm going to be introducing you to the lovely Coquitlam East. You're going to see beautiful views here, big, wonderful homes. I know you're going to love this area. I'm going to be talking about everything that you need to know, including real estate, of course. We're going to be talking about transit, accessibility, briefly touch on schools, outdoor spaces, amenities, things to do. So why don't we just get into it? So starting off with my favorite thing to talk about, we're going to be discussing real estate. But first, to give you guys some context in terms of the sub-area itself, Coquitlam East is essentially bordered by Ranch Park and Meadowbrook on the north sides. And then on the west sides, it's bordered by Central Coquitlam and Cape Horn. And then because we are the furthest east within this sub-area, on the eastern side, we're kind of bordering Port Coquitlam actually. And so when we're looking at real estate as a whole, you do have a primarily detached neighborhood. For the bulk of the sub area, you are going to see larger homes, and when I say larger, we're getting all the way up into like 4,000, 5,000 square foot interior space for homes, and very consistently a 7,000, 8,000 or 9,000 square foot lot. There is going to be some variance with that. You are going to see some smaller homes off of places like Lost Lake or Burien or Latimer, where you might actually see something even as small as like a 1,200 square foot home. And so there are some smaller homes and smaller lots, but very generally, you're going to see homes that are built primarily in the late 70s all the way throughout the 80s and then into the early 90s that are that larger two-story with a basement, fully finished, oftentimes with a suite, or a three-story home. In terms of other options, there are some anomalies within this sub area. You do have actually freehold strata detached homes off of Riverbend, which are more bordering that Meadowbrook and Port Coquitlam part of the sub area that are quite unique. You also have some townhouse options, primarily built in the 70s and the 80s off of streets like Atlin and Austin. And then you also have some low-rise condo options that are off of Atlin and Bromley that are built primarily in the 1990s. But as I said, generally this area is mostly residential detached homes, non-strata, and there are very, very few options in very particular complexes when it comes to low-rise condos and townhouses and then those detached strata homes. Another thing to note about this sub-area is that depending on where you are within the sub-area, you may have different catchments to schools. So if schools are important to you, specifically secondary schools, you're going to want to pay attention to the school locator for SD43 and exactly whether or not you have catchment for Centennial Secondary School or Charles Best Secondary School, because this is a sub area that's actually split and does have access to both depending on where you are within the neighborhood. So that's really your crash course in all things real estate within the Coquitlam East sub area. You do have some beautiful homes here with beautiful views, and that is really what this space is known for. So Coquitlam East has a number of outdoor options, and where I am right now is actually Riverview Forest. You've got tons of trees around here, nature trails, and you also have biking trails as well. On the lower side of this sub area, you also have immediate access to Colony Farms Regional Park. It's a huge space that's great for biking and actually links up to the Triboulet Trail, which is a huge long trail that actually runs all the way through Port Coquitlam and Coquitlam in certain parts. Coquitlam East is also bordered to the Central Coquitlam sub area, so you have a lot of layover with Mundy Park, which is the largest park in all of Coquitlam. You've got a massive perimeter walking trail that they used to make us run around for gym class as kids. You've got Lost Lake, you've got a dog park, you've got a number of different playground options. You also have like disc golf on the west side of the park. You've got a lacrosse box. You have immediate access to Spaney Outdoor Pool, which is in that area as well. So a lot of different homes within the Coquitlam East neighborhood will be immediate walking distance to Mundy Park, but depending on whether you're kind of on like the upper or lower side of Coquitlam East, just because this is a fairly big sub area, you may actually be closer to Colony Farms as another option. option, or as I said, Riverview Forest where I am right now. If you're more of like an indoor lover, you do also have a lot of different options. You've got Poirier Rec Center, which is in the heart of central Coquitlam. You've got the Coquitlam Public Library there, and in the rec center itself, you've got a gym, you've got a pool, you've got a figure skating rink that also turns into a lacrosse box depending on what season it is. So that's another great option for you to check out. And then within the sub-area itself, you have a lot of different transit options that will take you straight into either Coquitlam Station or Lougheed Station, both which are the major urban areas. And you've got malls at both of them. The Coquitlam Centre Mall is a great space where you've got things like Walmart, obviously a ton of retail shops and things to do. And if you're heading out to Lougheed Mall, it's actually being completely revamped. So we're gonna see a lot of different new retail spaces within that area. But safe to say, lots of indoor and outdoor options within this sub area that are extremely walkable. And so if you love to take yourself for a walk in the morning, if you love to have morning walks with your partner or your family, or you have a dog that you need to walk or kids that you need to tire out at a rec center, then Coquitlam East is definitely a good sub area to check out. And so the Coquitlam East sub-area is obviously the most eastern part of Coquitlam, and for a very, very primarily residential area with not much industrial options and it not being overly urban, it is incredibly convenient that a lot of the homes in this area are going to be walking distance to the Save-On Foods. And I would say that's a really big selling point for this neighborhood. Depending on where you are within the sub-area, just because it is fairly big, you may or may not be able to walk to the Save-On and Austin Station. But if you're essentially anywhere off of Austin or somewhere close to Mariner, then it's pretty likely that you're going to be able to walk to this very comfortably. And so Austin Station, in addition to having the Save-On Foods, also has a number of restaurant options. It's got Starbucks, it's got an Anytime Fitness gym right now, you've got the gas station right there. Lots in terms of options within this particular station that you can come to for grocery or restaurants. If you are not able to walk, then I wouldn't worry about it too much because there are a lot of different bus options within this sub area. And where I am right now is more so off of Austin and Mariner. If you're on Mariner, you're going to have direct buses that will take you straight into Coquitlam Centre SkyTrain Station. If you're off Chilco and that kind of part of Coquitlam East as well, you'll have options that will take you into Coquitlam Centre too. And Coquitlam Centre is really like the major urban center within like a nearby distance to Coquitlam East. You're probably about like a less than 10-minute bus ride from pretty much anywhere in terms of like where transit will pick you up within the sub area to Coquitlam Station. And that station there will have the West Coast Express rapid train, which will take you directly into waterfront area of Vancouver. It's got the SkyTrain, which will take you pretty much anywhere into Metro Vancouver. And it's also got the mall, which has things like Best Buy, it's got the TNT, it's got Walmart, a ton of different options. And you also have other retailers like Superstore or Palm Natural Grocer, all within that sub area as well. So as I said, don't worry too much if you're not within the walkable area to Austin Station, because you definitely have a number of different transit options that will take you into major urban centers. If you are looking to head further west, you also have immediate buses that will take you into Lougheed Town Centre, which also has the SkyTrain that will take you anywhere within Metro Vancouver or even out to the Fraser Valley heading towards Surrey. And you also have the new revamped Lougheed Mall that's still in the works, which is going to be really exciting addition to the Coquitlam West neighborhood in Coquitlam and kind of finalize those two major urban neighborhoods within Coquitlam. So safe to say there's a lot of different options in terms of walkability, but also transit options to everything that you pretty much need. Another thing about this area in terms of accessibility that it's very popular for is you have pretty much immediate access to the highway, which will link you straight to the freeway, which will obviously take you into Surrey and Langley and further heading out east, and very easily into New Westminster, Burnaby and Vancouver heading west, which can shave off a ton of time for a lot of people that are obviously needing to head into work in the morning every single day. I know that's a big thing for me. If I can save you a little bit of extra time in terms of sleeping in, then I'm going to do it. If that sounds like you, then this is definitely a sub area that you're going to want to check out. So keep Coquitlam East in mind. It's definitely an accessible area and it is generally pretty quiet because it is primarily residential. It does have urban options, but keeps that residential, quiet, parky, outdoor feel with immediate access into urban centers.